Hey, Skratch! Give me a beat!
Ever since Jim Henson made puppets mainstream with Sesame Street, The Muppet Show, and movies like Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, there have been thousands who have taken up the mantle to entertain the next generation. On this episode, we travel to Second Soul Studios to interview a puppet master. Willie Harper is one of these artists who grew up with Jim Henson's Muppets and is now making his own kids show. Needlz and Skratch, a very unique show that is making waves in the film festival market and soon will be in full production teaching kids about music and so much more. I sat down with Willie Harper to find out more about Needlz and Skratch.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you
Good.
for inviting me.
Thanks so much for coming out and bringing our lovely friends as well. This is Needlz and this is Skratch.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, let's get right into it. Tell me a bit about Needlz and Skratch.
So Needlz and Skratch is a show for preschoolers. It's a throwback between having records and spinning back in the 80s and 90s. And so what I really wanted to do is bring the mix of music with education to help preschoolers learn and retain information while they're in school.
I love that. What made you decide that you wanted to create this show?
So at the time, my daughter was in school and she was having trouble retaining information. And so I was trying to find a helpful way to not only make educational fun, but have her retain the information that she's learning.
Yeah.
So that way it's not just for the test, but also she could use it in her everyday life.
Love that. That's so great. And so like you grew up with puppetry. How long have you been a puppeteer?
So I'm self-taught,
Wow.
and I've been doing that for about 8 years now, of learning, watching a lot of YouTube videos.
Sure.
Yes, a lot of YouTube
Yes.
videos. And so that way I can get like a better understanding of standing outside myself. Because it's one thing to have a little kid around who's just all over the place, but it's another thing to have a puppet on your hand, and then you realize that you always got to have their motion, make sure they're not just sitting there stoic, and have your mind all over the place.
Sure.
So the training was definitely like having another kid.
Right.
Yes, I know. I love you too, like a little kid. But just bringing that all together and having that was just helping me become a better puppeteer.
Absolutely.
Than what I ever could have imagined could have been.
Sure, yeah. So tell me more about Needlz and Skratch. How did you come up with these two characters?
So Needlz and Skratch came up basically as a design that I had, because I've drawn before different cartoons and stuff as a kid.
Yeah.
And I love Saturday morning cartoons, which we don't have nowadays.
Yeah.
And so I just had this idea of what puppets would look like in my version of Sesame Street, but I really didn't do anything with it. So they were a drawing on a piece of paper. They just sat to the side for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And then my good buddy, Neil Galarte, he actually saw one of the drawings and he said, "Hey man, what are you doing with that?" And I said, "I'm not really doing anything with that." And he said, "These puppets look very good. You should really do something with that."
Yeah.
So I can't take all the credit because
Yeah.
I did create it with Neil Galarte, and then down the line we brought in another person who helped along with the creation of the music because I had no idea what they sounded like. I just knew
Oh,
what
yeah.
they looked like.
Right.
And so that guy came on board, which is my good buddy Rafael Lugo. He and his wife Melissa Lugo, who actually does the voice for Needlz, joined the team, and we just all collaborated together. So pretty much we're all creators of the Needlz and Skratch show.
Yeah, so you got a whole team of creating this awesome show. What is the process of creating the show? Where do you start? Do you write a script? Do you have a lesson that you want to teach? Do you write the music first? How does it all work?
So I start every episode first of understanding what's the lesson that I want to have the audience walk away from. I've sat through many shows for kids where the parents had to sit there and halfway fall asleep because they're like, "Man, this is 100% for my kid.
Yeah.
This is not really for me." So I was trying to find the common ground so that way kids are not only educated but also the parents too.
Yeah.
So for Needlz and Skratch, they're a brother and sister duo where they work in their workshop. And inside their workshop, they're helping to fix instruments who come there and they're looking for solutions.
Yeah.
So Needlz and Skratch work together to find ways to help fix the instruments and also learn through that process.
Oh, wow. Wow, you guys are very talented to be working on instruments. So is there an instrument that was really hard to work on? No, it's all pretty easy.
It's all
You're a pro. That's why they hire you, exactly.
Yeah, we have so much fun on the show.
Yeah.
I can't ask for anything better than just, coming in, cutting on the lights and the camera, and just really figuring out, what are we going to do today? That's just an adventure every day.
Right.
With the learning curriculum that we do for the Needlz and Skratch show, even though it's based more on music education, we also want to show, how brothers and sisters can work together in problem solving, mindfulness, and teamwork, and also behaviors too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, Skratch may not always have a good day.
Right.
Same thing with Needlz.
Yeah.
So each show will definitely highlight not only just the music part, but also a behavior to help work through difficulties that they might be going through. Some of the frustrations, especially Skratch, might have some frustrations with not only just communication, but also finding ways to need help when trying to solve a problem.
Yes.
So Skratch, even though he is the little brother of Needlz, the special thing about Skratch is he has autism. Okay, so because he is on the spectrum, he communicates non-verbally. So he makes sounds and noises with his mouth. He does a little bit of beatboxing, which we were not going to show off right now.
No, right now? Maybe another time. Little camera
Yeah,
shy.
a little camera shy.
Yeah, I get that
Little
way
camera
too.
shy.
It's okay.
But he makes sounds through beatboxing,
Yeah.
and Needlz, his older sister, is the one who understands what he's saying.
Yeah,
But
who
I-
also seems a little camera
Yeah,
shy.
oh yeah. But not everybody else understands what's going on, but she does.
Yeah.
So basically, not only are we showing kids how to have fun with music, but we also want to show them whenever there's sibling rivalry going on in the house, how they can work together.
Absolutely.
Through Needlz and Skratch, and hopefully, the parents can see that too.
Yeah, that's so important for children to see that as well.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it's normal to whether you have banter or work together. And
Right.
kids, they always have their own fun language and mannerisms, and sometimes they're the only ones that get it. The
Oh,
parents
yeah.
aren't going to understand
Yeah.
it. So that's wonderful. This is so great. So you not only drew out the puppets, but you also have done the set design as
Yes,
well.
that's
right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so doing the set design was a little fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of homework. I didn't realize how much homework I had to do.
Yeah.
I figure as an adult, I don't want to have to do as much homework as my daughter, but man,
Right.
oh man. I sometimes feel like I have to do the same amount of homework that she does.
Yeah.
So I went through some of the shapes, designs, and colors that would not be overstimulating for children, but also keep their attention. I really wanted to give the aesthetic like a preschooler actually built it instead of a grown adult. So there's shapes and designs and colors that I made sure was not so perfect, that literally any kid who watches it feels that they can build it at their home too. So I built two different stages, not only just the one behind us,
Yes.
but also a smaller diorama where I built their neighborhood. And their neighborhood is constructed of cardboard, foam, anything you can find at a Hobby Lobby shop, or any type of cardboard that you have in the house and you're just cutting it up together and coloring it with crayons. I basically just put a lot of those supplies into the creation of the neighborhood.
And is there a way that we would be able to watch you create these sets?
Oh yeah. So I put a lot of the building videos up on not only just my website, but also on the YouTube channel too. So that way kids can see it, adults can also see it too, and then that way it's almost like a building project that they could do together.
Yeah.
That I show small little steps of how I bring it out of a regular cardboard box into a diorama that becomes their neighborhood.
That's so cool. Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably very inspiring for children to see that, because maybe one day we'll have someone who wants to be a set designer.
Yes.
Or yeah.
You never know. And then hopefully by watching the videos, they can see that anything around your house can turn into whatever your imagination creates it to be.
I love that. That is so cool. And then where can we follow you on social media, and do you have a website?
Sure, yeah. So we're always looking for individuals to discover Needlz and Skratch, and they can discover it through our website, which is needlzandskratch.com. There we have a plethora of stuff, whether you're looking for videos, updates, behind the scenes of what the production is. Also too, for individuals who would love to donate to the cause, we also have a link there too where they can click and donate to the show, which will move forward to more education.
Oh, perfect. That's wonderful. And then we can have more episodes and see you guys more often.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. This is so awesome. What I've seen so far, these guys are fantastic. You guys are going to go far.
Thank you.
It's been really, really cool. And my final question is, who's easier to work with, actors or puppets?
I don't know if I could just say you. How's your sister gonna feel? I'm just gonna say they both are. They both have their special moments. They both have their special difficulties.
Yes.
Challenges.
Okay.
And so with that comes with enjoyment, just like raising a kid.
Absolutely.
You know, you have your good days, you have your frustrating days.
Yeah.
But they work out, and I just wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a family in a way.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
So, well, thanks so much for joining us,
No
Willie.
problem.
And Skratch, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I hope to see you again soon. And I can't wait to see you some more and see your series because you're pretty great. All right, Willie, thank you so much
Thank
again
you.
for joining us.